What if the next Lincoln penny you pick up isn't worth 1 cent at all? What if it has a story that collectors would pay thousands to own? Before you rush to empty that old coin jar or spend the change sitting in your pocket, stay with me, because one small detail on a 1973 Lincoln penny could make the difference between an ordinary coin and a remarkable collectible. And one mistake could mean letting a valuable piece of history slip away forever. The 1973 Lincoln 1 cent was produced during a time when billions of pennies circulated through American pockets every single day. Most 1973 pennies without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, where coins traditionally carried no mint mark during that era. Millions were made, and the overwhelming majority remain worth only a small premium over face value. But every experienced collector knows the same truth. It's never just about the date. It's about the condition, the strike, and, most importantly, whether the coin displays a rare minting error. Imagine finding a coin that looks ordinary until you notice something unusual. Maybe the lettering appears doubled. Maybe the date seems slightly shifted. Perhaps there's an off-center strike or an unexpected die crack. Those tiny details can completely change how collectors view a coin. Suddenly, that forgotten penny isn't just spare change. It's a mystery waiting to be solved. Here's something to think about. How many people spend old pennies every day without ever looking at them? Probably millions. That's exactly why remarkable discoveries still happen. Rare coins don't always come from museums or wealthy collections. Sometimes they come from a kitchen drawer, an inherited jar, or a dusty box in the attic. Now here's the surprising part. Did you just promise yourself you'd start checking every penny after this? If so, you're definitely not alone. High-grade examples of the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, especially those with exceptional preservation or significant, authenticated mint errors, have brought impressive prices at major auctions. The rarest examples earn attention because collectors compete fiercely for coins that combine outstanding condition with genuine scarcity. However, extraordinary prices are the exception rather than the rule, and every valuable coin should be professionally authenticated before anyone assumes it is a major discovery. That's why patience beats excitement every single time. Cleaning a coin, polishing it, or trying to improve its appearance can actually reduce its value dramatically. Collectors prefer originality. Even decades of natural toning can be more desirable than a bright, freshly cleaned surface. So before you toss another handful of pennies into a cash register or coin counting machine, ask yourself one simple question. What if one of them deserves a closer look? The greatest treasure hunters aren't always digging in the ground. Sometimes they're searching through ordinary pocket change with extraordinary attention to detail. The next remarkable discovery could belong to someone willing to slow down, learn the signs of true rarity, and let expert authentication reveal the coin's real story. Your 1973 Lincoln penny may simply be worth 1 cent. Or it could be a fascinating collectible with genuine value to the right buyer. You'll never know until you look. And sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest surprise. Imagine reaching into an old jar of forgotten coins, pulling out a simple 1 cent piece, and discovering that the tiny copper-colored coin sitting in your hand could be worth far more than anyone expected. It sounds impossible, but history has proven that ordinary-looking pennies can sometimes become extraordinary treasures. And today, we are uncovering the mystery behind the 1979 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors searching for rare varieties, hidden errors, and valuable discoveries. At first glance, the 1979 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin produced for everyday use. Millions were created at the Denver Mint, and many of them spent decades traveling through cash registers, wallets, and forgotten collections across America. But the real story begins when collectors look beyond the date and mint mark and start searching for the small details that can transform a common coin into a rare collectible. The Denver Mint has a long history of producing some of America's most fascinating coins. The small D mark beneath the date tells collectors that this penny was made in Denver, but that tiny letter is only the beginning of the investigation. The true value of a 1979 Lincoln penny depends on several important factors, including condition, rarity, unusual characteristics, and whether the coin contains a valuable minting mistake. And here is where things become interesting. because sometimes the difference between an ordinary penny and a valuable one is smaller than a grain of sand. A slight error during production, an unusual doubling effect, a unique surface issue, or a coin preserved in exceptional condition can completely change its story. Think about that for a moment. A coin that someone might ignore in a pocket, toss into a jar, or leave sitting in an old drawer could actually deserve a second look. How many valuable coins have been forgotten simply because someone never knew what to search for? But before you rush to sell your old pennies, there is something every collector should understand. Not every 1979 Lincoln penny is worth a fortune. The excitement comes from finding the rare examples that stand apart from the millions produced. Serious collectors study these coins carefully because small details can create enormous differences in value. The world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. One day, a person cleaning out an inherited collection discovers a forgotten treasure. Another day, someone finds a rare coin mixed among everyday change. It is almost like a real-life treasure hunt hiding in plain sight. Now imagine opening an old box from your family's attic. Inside are memories, photographs, and a collection of coins that nobody has examined for years. Could one of those coins be the discovery everyone dreams about? That possibility is what keeps collectors searching. The market for rare coins continues to attract people who understand that history can sometimes be held in the palm of your hand. Penny is not just a piece of metal. It is a piece of American history, a snapshot of a specific moment in time, and sometimes a valuable collectible waiting to be recognized. Some extremely rare coins have reached astonishing prices at auctions, with exceptional examples selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. While the highest values are reserved for truly rare and verified specimens, the lesson remains clear. Knowledge creates opportunity. So before you spend another old penny, take a closer look. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Look for unusual details. That small habit could change the way you see pocket change forever. The next valuable discovery may not be hidden in a museum. It may not be locked away in a billionaire's collection. It could be sitting quietly in an old coin jar, waiting for someone curious enough to find it. Because sometimes, the biggest treasures are the ones everyone else overlooks. Imagine finding a tiny 1-cent coin hiding in your pocket change, a coin most people would ignore without a second thought, only to discover it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. That sounds like a dream, but for collectors and treasure hunters across America, the search for rare Lincoln pennies has created some unbelievable discoveries. And today, we are uncovering the mystery behind the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors searching for hidden treasures in everyday money. At first glance, the 1987 Lincoln penny may look ordinary. It was produced during a time when billions of Lincoln cents were made for circulation, and millions of these coins passed through American hands. But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Sometimes, the value of a coin is not determined by its age alone. The real excitement comes from rare characteristics, unusual errors, exceptional condition, and the demand created by collectors who are willing to pay premium prices for something truly special. The 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, where coins traditionally carried no mint mark. This detail alone does not make every 1987 penny valuable. In fact, most examples are worth only their face value. But the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. A small difference, a rare minting mistake, or a coin preserved in extraordinary condition can completely change its story. And this is where many people make their biggest mistake. They look at old coins and think, it's just a penny. But what if that penny sitting in an old jar, family collection, or forgotten drawer is the one everyone else overlooked? After all, history has shown that some of the most valuable coins were discovered by ordinary people who simply decided to look closer. Now, let's talk about what makes collectors excited. Serious collectors examine details such as sharpness of design, original shine, unusual markings, and possible minting errors. A tiny flaw created during production can turn an everyday coin into a rare collectible. Think about it this way. A factory mistake that happened for only a brief moment decades ago could become the reason a coin attracts worldwide attention today. But here is the part that surprises many beginners. The condition of a coin can be everything. Two pennies from the same year can have completely different values. One may have been damaged by years of use, while another may look almost untouched, preserved like a time capsule. Collectors know that quality matters, and that is why experienced treasure hunters never judge a coin too quickly. The excitement does not stop there. The market for rare coins continues to attract people who dream of uncovering forgotten wealth. While not every 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny will bring a fortune, rare examples with extraordinary qualities can create intense competition among buyers and collectors. Some rare Lincoln cents throughout history have reached incredible auction prices, proving that even the smallest coins can hold enormous stories. So before you spend that loose change, before you throw away that old coin collection, take a closer look. That simple penny could be more than just money. It could be a piece of American history, a collector's treasure, or the discovery you never expected. The next great coin discovery may not be sitting in a museum. It may be sitting somewhere ordinary, waiting for someone curious enough to recognize its hidden potential. The question is, will you be the person who finds it? Start checking your coins, learn what makes them valuable, and remember that sometimes the smallest treasures can create the biggest opportunities. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins sitting in your home, pulling out a simple 1-cent penny, and discovering that this tiny piece of copper-colored history could be worth far more than its original 1-cent value. It sounds unbelievable, but across America, collectors have turned ordinary-looking pennies into extraordinary treasures. And today, we're uncovering the mystery behind the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors searching for rare finds and valuable errors. At first glance, the 1988 Lincoln penny looks like just another coin produced for everyday transactions. Millions were created, and most examples are still worth only their face value or a small amount above that depending on condition. But in the world of coin collecting, the difference between an ordinary penny and a valuable treasure often comes down to one thing: the details that most people never notice. The absence of a mint mark on a 1988 Lincoln penny is what makes many collectors curious. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carry no mint mark, while coins from other facilities often display a small letter identifying their origin. This tiny detail has caused countless people to take a second look at their spare change, wondering if they might be holding something unusual. But here is where the story becomes fascinating. The real excitement in the coin world is not just about the year printed on the coin. It is about rare characteristics, unusual errors, exceptional preservation, and the demand created by serious collectors. A small mistake during the minting process can transform an everyday coin into a highly sought-after collectible. Think about it for a moment. Every day, people throw pennies into drawers, containers, and old coffee cans without a second thought. Some even leave them behind in old collections because they assume a penny is just a penny. But what if the coin you ignored for years was the one someone else was desperately searching for? That is the thrill of numismatics. It turns ordinary moments into treasure hunts. And yes, sometimes the smallest coins can create the biggest surprises. Now, before you start emptying every couch cushion in your house, remember this important fact. Not every 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is automatically worth a fortune. The highest values are typically connected to coins with exceptional qualities, rare errors, or special circumstances that make them stand out among millions of others. The condition of the coin plays a major role. A heavily damaged penny that has spent decades in circulation will usually not attract the same attention as a beautifully preserved example with sharp details and a unique feature. Collectors carefully examine the lettering, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the date, the edges, and every tiny marking that could reveal something special. And here is the question that keeps collectors searching. Could a rare 1988 Lincoln penny hiding in someone's collection become one of those once-in-a-lifetime discoveries? Some rare coins have shocked the world by reaching incredible auction prices, with exceptional examples commanding values far beyond what anyone expected. A coin that once bought almost nothing could potentially become a symbol of opportunity, patience, and discovery. That is why experienced collectors always say, never underestimate small change. because history has proven something incredible. Wealth is not always found in obvious places. Sometimes it is sitting quietly in a forgotten box, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. So before you spend that old penny, examine it carefully. Look for unusual features, protect its condition, and learn what makes collectors excited. The next valuable discovery might not be buried in the ground or locked away in a vault. It might be resting right in the palm of your hand. Keep searching, keep learning, and remember that every coin has a story. The question is, will you be the person who discovers it? Imagine finding a simple penny hiding in a drawer, an old jar, or even your pocket change, only to discover that this tiny piece of copper-colored history could be worth a fortune. A coin that most people would ignore, toss aside, or spend without a second thought may hold a secret that collectors are willing to pay thousands, or in extraordinary cases, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Today, we uncover the mystery behind the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny and why some collectors believe rare examples could become legendary treasures. In 1991, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies for everyday use. These coins featured the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by designer Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained one of the most recognizable symbols in American coinage. The reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial, honoring one of America's most respected presidents. At first glance, the 1991 Lincoln penny looks ordinary. But in the world of coin collecting, ordinary appearances can hide extraordinary stories. The most important detail collectors look for is the missing mint mark. A no-mint mark penny means there is no small letter identifying where the coin was produced. For coins made at the Philadelphia Mint during this era, no mint mark was normal. However, when unusual errors, rare varieties, or exceptional conditions are involved, collectors begin paying very close attention. And here is where the story gets interesting, because not every old penny is valuable. In fact, most 1991 pennies are worth only their face value. But the difference between a common coin and a valuable treasure can come down to tiny details that many people never notice. A rare minting error, an unusual strike, a dramatic mistake during production, or an almost perfect condition can transform a forgotten penny into a collector's dream. Think about it for a moment. Millions of people handle coins every day, but how many actually stop and look? Most people check their change for a few seconds and move on. It is almost funny when you think about it. We spend hours searching for discounts online, but we might be ignoring valuable coins sitting right in front of us. The excitement comes from the possibility that history may already be in your hands. Some rare Lincoln pennies have reached incredible prices at major auctions, proving that collectors will pay extraordinary amounts for coins with the right combination of rarity, condition, and story. A special 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny with unique characteristics could attract serious attention from advanced collectors and investors searching for the next great discovery. But before you start imagining a fortune overnight, remember this: knowledge is the real treasure. Successful coin hunters do not rely on luck alone. They learn how to examine details, protect their discoveries, and understand what makes a coin truly valuable. Look closely at your 1991 penny. Check the date, the surface, the lettering, the edges, and any unusual features that make it different from millions of others. Even a tiny detail that seems insignificant could be the clue that separates a regular coin from a rare collectible. The world of rare coins is filled with stories of people who almost threw away valuable pieces of history. The biggest mistake is assuming every old coin is worthless before understanding what you have. So the next time you find a penny from 1991, do not just see 1 cent. See a possibility. See a piece of American history. See the chance that a forgotten coin could become one of the most exciting discoveries of your collecting journey. Because sometimes the greatest treasures are not buried underground. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look. Imagine finding a simple 1-cent coin hiding in a drawer, an old jar, or a forgotten collection, and discovering that this tiny piece of copper-colored history could be worth a life-changing fortune. It sounds impossible, but in the world of rare coins, ordinary-looking pennies have shocked collectors, created bidding wars, and transformed everyday people into treasure hunters. And today, we are uncovering the mystery behind the 1997 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors searching for rare varieties, unusual errors, and hidden value. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny was produced at the Denver Mint during a time when billions of Lincoln cents were created for everyday circulation. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another penny sitting unnoticed in your pocket. The date is familiar, the design is common, and millions were made. But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. In coin collecting, rarity is not always about age. Sometimes the smallest details create the biggest opportunities. A tiny mistake during the minting process, an unusual strike, a rare surface feature, or a coin preserved in exceptional condition can completely change its value. That means the penny you almost ignored could deserve a second look. Think about it. How many times have people tossed coins into jars without checking them? How many valuable discoveries have been lost because someone thought, it's only a penny? That one simple mistake has cost people the chance to uncover hidden treasures sitting right in front of them. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny represents an exciting period in modern coin history. Collectors carefully examine these coins for special characteristics that separate ordinary examples from extraordinary ones. The Denver D. Mint mark tells us where the coin was produced, but the real story comes from the details. Professional collectors search for coins with unusual characteristics, strong strikes, pristine condition, and rare varieties that make them stand apart from millions of others. And here is something surprising. Sometimes the most valuable coins are not the ones everyone expects. A century-old coin may be damaged and worth little, while a modern penny preserved perfectly with a rare feature can attract serious attention. It is almost like finding a classic sports car covered with a dusty sheet in an old garage. You never know what is waiting underneath until you take a closer look. Now, this is where the excitement builds. Some high-grade and rare error examples of modern Lincoln pennies have reached astonishing values at major auctions, with certain extraordinary pieces attracting prices that seem unbelievable. The possibility of a rare 1997 D. Lincoln penny reaching a potential market value approaching $997,000 has fueled interest among collectors and treasure hunters searching through old coins. But before you start dreaming about quitting your job and buying a private island with your penny collection, remember this. Not every 1997 D penny is a fortune. The true value comes from authentication, condition, rarity, and verified collector demand. A professional evaluation can reveal whether a coin is simply a collectible or something truly extraordinary. The biggest lesson from the 1997 D. Lincoln penny is not just about money. It is about awareness. Valuable opportunities are often hidden in places people overlook. A small coin can carry history, mystery, and sometimes incredible financial potential. So before you spend that loose change, before you ignore that old coin collection, take a moment and look closer. The next rare discovery may not be buried in a treasure chest. It may already be sitting quietly in your home. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a simple penny. Imagine finding a tiny copper-colored coin hiding in your pocket change. A coin most people would ignore, toss aside, or spend without a second thought. Now imagine that same 1-cent piece could be the difference between a forgotten piece of metal and a life-changing discovery worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Somewhere out there, a 2003 Lincoln penny may be sitting in an old jar, a family collection, or even a forgotten drawer, waiting for someone to recognize what makes it special. The 2003 Lincoln 1-cent penny was produced during a time when millions of pennies were created for everyday commerce. At first glance, it looks ordinary. It carries the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But in the world of coin collecting, ordinary appearances can sometimes hide extraordinary secrets. And this is where the story gets interesting, because collectors know that value is not always about age alone. A common mistake many people make is thinking, if a coin is not from the 1800s, it cannot be valuable. But that idea could cause you to overlook a hidden treasure sitting right in front of you. The real excitement begins when rarity, condition, and unusual characteristics come together. The 2003 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has attracted attention from collectors searching for rare varieties and unusual examples. The absence of a mint mark can raise questions because pennies produced at certain United States mint facilities usually carry identifying letters. When something appears different from what collectors expect, curiosity grows, and that curiosity can create incredible demand. But here is the question that keeps collectors searching through millions of coins every year. What if the penny you have is not just another penny? What if it contains a rare error, an unusual strike, a special surface condition, or a feature that separates it from billions of ordinary coins? That is the moment where a simple 1-cent piece transforms into a collector's dream. Think about it. Every day, people walk past coins without looking. Some people spend years chasing opportunities, while others discover opportunities hiding in plain sight. Your grandparents may have saved coins for the future, and maybe they knew something many people forgot. Small things can become valuable when history, rarity, and demand meet. Now, let's talk about what makes collectors pay attention. The condition of a coin can dramatically change its value. A worn penny that has traveled through countless transactions may only be worth its face value. But a beautifully preserved example with sharp details, original appearance, and verified rarity can attract serious interest from collectors and investors. This is why experienced collectors carefully examine every detail. They look at Lincoln's hair, the lettering, the date, the edges, and the overall quality. Sometimes the smallest difference can create the biggest excitement. And here is the part that surprises many people. Valuable coins are not always discovered in expensive collections. Some of the most exciting finds come from ordinary places. Old coffee cans, childhood coin jars, estate collections, forgotten boxes in the attic. The possibility is what keeps treasure hunters searching. The idea that a small penny could hold a story worth thousands of dollars captures something powerful about collecting. It is not just about money. It is about discovery. It is about finding a piece of American history that almost everyone else ignored. A reported high-end market value of around $923,000 represents the kind of extraordinary potential that fuels interest in rare coin collecting. But every coin must be carefully examined and authenticated before any major valuation can be confirmed. The true value depends on factors like rarity, errors, condition, and collector demand. So before you spend that old penny, take a closer look. The next time you see a 2003 Lincoln cent, do not just see 1 cent. See a possibility. See a piece of history. See the chance that something small could become something unforgettable. Because sometimes the greatest treasures are not buried underground. Sometimes they are sitting quietly in your own home, waiting for someone curious enough to look.